Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Krishna book ki jai, Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Krishna book reading in preparation for Janmashtami. We are reading from Krishna book, and in our last session we read how Manigriva, Nalakuvara and Manigriva were delivered by Lord Krishna because of the desire of Narad Muni. Then Krishna was bound by Mother Yasoda, and Krishna wanted to do more mischief, so he decided to pull down the two Arjuna trees because it was Narad Muni's desire to deliver these two demigods. So what happened after the trees fell down? Well, we saw that also. Okay, we'll continue reading. So we saw what we read last was that first Krishna went through the trees, and then the grinding mortar got stuck between the two trees. That was not able to come out. So Krishna pulled it. And as soon as he pulled with great strength, Krishna just pulled it. As soon as he pulled it, the two trees, gigantic trees, how old? Many thousands of years old. 100 years by demigods' calculation. Demigods, 100 years. So their 1 year is our 365 years. So their 100 years would be our 36,000, right? 36,500 years. That's how old these trees were. 36,500 years old trees. Big, huge. And actually I heard in one lecture that in general these Arjuna trees are known for their strong rooting in the ground. They are rooted so deeply, it's not easy to actually uproot them. They're very deep, and on top of that they were such mature trees, right? And Krishna just, of course it takes a lot of strength, so with great strength, but Krishna, as soon as he pulled, the trees along with all their branches and everything came crashing down, and it made such a tumultuous sound. and two shining personalities came out that were Nalakuvara and Manikriva, and they offered prayers to Krishna. And Krishna said that, yeah, I know that you were cursed by Narad Muni. And also he said that now you go back to your father's place, Kuvera, and this is your last life. After this you'll go back to Godhead, like that. So they circumambulated little Krishna many, many times. Again and again they were circumambulating, and they were offering obeisances again and again. And then they went back. Meanwhile, let's see what is happening in Vraj. Chapter 11, Killing the Demons Vatsasura and Bakāsura. When the twin Arjuna trees fell to the ground, making a sound like the falling of thunderbolts, all the inhabitants of Gokula, including Nanda Maharaj, immediately came to the spot. They were very much astonished to see how the two great trees had suddenly fallen, right? There's no reason, there is no tornado, nothing. All of a sudden they just collapsed, the two big trees, and such old trees, right? They were all astonished how the two great trees had suddenly fallen. Because they could find no reason for their falling down, they were puzzled. One second. We need the. No, I want it. Let's go box. It's big. Thank you. You can turn this. Sorry. Okay. So, because they could find no reason for their falling down, they were puzzled. How did this happen? When they saw child Krishna bound up to Yashoda Mai knew that she bound up Krishna. Others didn't know. So now everyone has come. Nanda Maharaj has come, and all over from Gokul everyone is there. And hearing this sound, they came and they saw the two trees fallen, and they are seeing Krishna bound to a stone grind or wooden grinding mortar. So you can imagine. So because they could find no reason for their falling down, they were puzzled. When they saw child Krishna bound up to the wooden mortar by the ropes of Mother Yasoda, they thought that it must have been caused by some demon, right? First of all, a little child, that too bound up. What can he do? Must be some, yeah, some demon has come to kill Krishna. Otherwise, how was it possible? At the same time, they were very much perturbed because such uncommon incidents were always happening to child Krishna. They already saw Putana, the Shakatasura. They didn't know it was Shakatasura, but all of a sudden the cart is all broken, the wheels and axles, everything is broken for no reason. And then they saw Trinavarta. One after another, they're seeing these demons and these dangers coming wherever Krishna is present. So they were perturbed, disturbed, because such uncommon incidents were always happening to child Krishna. While the cowherd men were thus contemplating, the small children who were playing there, so there were some small children, informed the men that the trees had fallen because Krishna had pulled the wooden mortar with the ropes binding him. So Krishna was bound to this wooden mortar, and Krishna is crawling, and with the ropes that bound him to the mortar, he pulled the wooden grinding mortar, and because of this the trees fell down. Like this, these small children were telling all these cowherd men and ladies that had come. Krishna came in between the two trees, they explained, and the wooden mortar was topsy-turvied. It became like horizontal and stuck in between the trees. Krishna pulled the rope and the trees fell down. When the trees fell down, two very dazzling men came out of the trees and they said something to Krishna. So this is what, how old is Krishna at this time? He's just, uh, he's still a small child, right? He's running. Yeah, he's walking and he's running because remember, Mother Yashoda was chasing after Krishna. So he's running, but he's still a small child. So other little children there, they were saying, the trees fell down because Krishna pulled and two shining personalities came out and they started speaking to Krishna. They said something to Krishna and then they flew away like this. And the cowherd men are listening. Most of the cowherd men did not believe the statement of the children. They could not believe that such things were at all possible. Some of the men, however, believed them because they saw all these uncommon things happening around Krishna. So this can be quite possible. Some men believed and they told Nanda Maharaj, your child is different from all other children. He just might have done it, right? He might have pulled the trees down. Nanda Maharaj smiled to hear about the extraordinary abilities of his son. He came forward and untied the knot just to free his wonderful child. Still Krishna was bound. So Nanda Maharaj came and opened up the knot of the rope that was tying him. After being freed by Nanda Maharaj, Krishna was taken onto the laps of the elder gopis. They took him away to the courtyard of the house and began to clap, praising his wonderful activities. Oh, so wonderful. You brought the trees down like that. So they were praising Krishna's wonderful activities. Krishna, and when they were dancing they were singing and clapping, Krishna would dance along with their clapping. Krishna danced along with their clapping, just like an ordinary child. The Supreme Lord Krishna, being completely controlled by the gopis, sang and danced just like a puppet in their hands. Sometimes Mother Yashoda, so that's that pastime of the deliverance of Nalakuvara and Manigriva. Sometimes Mother Yashoda used to ask Krishna to bring her a wooden plank for sitting, right? What we call a pida, right? Like a small wooden table. Sometimes it's used in the kitchens, and even you see when they perform yagyas, they have those small wooden, they're not too high, just little high, you can say. So Yashoda Mai asked Krishna, sometimes she would ask Krishna, go bring me that, wooden table, wooden plank for sitting. Although the wooden plank was too heavy to be carried by a child, still somehow or other Krishna would bring it to his mother. Sometimes, so this is one thing, right? He would bring it with great difficulty, he would bring. Sometimes his father, while worshipping Narayan, would ask him, Krishna, to bring his wooden slippers. He would ask him to bring his wooden slippers, Lord Narayan's wooden slippers, I guess, because he's worshipping Lord Narayan, right?
I think his own slippers.
Why would he need his wooden slippers when he's worshipping Lord Narayan?
After he's going to go outside, probably.
Okay. Okay, maybe after the puja he'll be going out, so for that he's asking Krishna to bring his wooden slippers, maybe. Okay, so so sometimes Mother Yashoda, sometimes his father, while worshipping Narayan, would ask him to bring his wooden slippers. Yeah, you have small H, so that is Nanda Maharaj's only. And Krishna with great difficulty would put the slippers on his head and bring them to his father. When he was asked to lift some heavy article and was unable to lift it, this is another funny thing. He's unable to lift because something is very heavy for him. And he is holding up all the universes. An expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna as Anantasesh is holding the entire universe. But even a wooden slipper becomes so heavy that he's not able to lift. And he's not pretending or acting. He's actually not able to lift.
And he just pulled down the trees.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so difficult that he's not able to lift the wooden slipper and he just pulled down these two Arjuna trees. So that's why Krishna is Achintya. Achintya, inconceivable. It's not that he's pretending or anything. He could not lift it. It was too heavy for him. And this is how he completely captivates the hearts of his devotees by his wonderful activities. When he was asked to lift some heavy article and was unable to lift it, he would simply move his arms, right? So he's not able to lift, so he will just moving his arms, because he's not able to lift the thing, he will act like, he's lifting it by moving his arms. In this way, daily, at every moment, he was the reservoir of all pleasures for his parents. At every moment, his every activity would bring so much pleasure to Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj. Even something as small as lifting a wooden plank or wooden shoe on his head. The Lord was exhibiting such childish dealings with the inhabitants of Vrindavan because he wanted to show the great philosophers and sages searching after the absolute truth how the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is controlled by and subject to the desires of his pure devotees. So the yogis and the jnanis, they simply want to realize Brahman. And for that, they have to work so hard. And here, not only is he visible, he is completely controlled by his pure devotees. And he is subject to the desires of his pure devotees. Like Narad Muni desired something and Krishna fulfills that. And he is controlled. The gopis are singing and clapping and he dances to their tune. Why Krishna is doing these pastimes? To show these great philosophers and sages that if you simply do pure devotional service, you can control him. One day, okay, another wonderful story, pastime. One day, a fruit vendor came before the house of Nanda Maharaj. Upon hearing the vendor call, if anyone wants fruits, please come and take them from me. Like you all are familiar, right? In India, you see this. Sometimes they come on telas, or sometimes they come, with baskets on their heads. They come like that. Ladies especially, they come with baskets of either vegetables or some shak or fruits. They can come. So this lady is bringing from the forest. She's getting fruits from the forest. So carrying it on her head, she's saying, anyone wants fruits, please come and buy from me. Child Krishna immediately took some grains in his palms and went to get fruits in exchange for the grains. How he knew this? This is barter system. This is in the Vedic society, there was barter system. One person is growing, like the Vaishyas, they're growing agricultural produce, they have milk, but they also need clothes and they need jewelry. How do they get it? They would exchange with their products. They would exchange milk products for some clothes, or maybe for some even now sometimes you will see, sometimes in villages you will see that they'll come with some plastic containers, etc., and then they will say, if you have some cotton clothes, saris or something, you give me the clothes and we will give you something in return. There's no money transaction, just exchanging things like that. So Krishna saw Nanda Maharaj doing this. They would bring grain and they would take the fruits and give her grain. So Krishna thought, I want these fruits. So in his small hands, he got grains and he ran outside calling the fruit vendor, I will buy fruit, right? With grains in his hands. In those days, exchange was by barter. Therefore, Krishna might have seen his parents acquire fruits and other things by bartering grain, and so he imitated. But his palms were very small. You can imagine how many grains he can hold, and that too, he's dropping them on the ground as he's running. They're falling down. Hardly maybe 3-4 grains, right, in his palms, fists. So, but his palms were very small, and he was not very careful to hold the grains tight. So he was dropping them. The vendor who came to sell fruits saw this, right? The eagerness, first of all, this charming, beautiful little child coming to give some grains in exchange for the fruit, and is running so eagerly and enthusiastically and dropping the grains on the way. And then he wants to give that. So she's watching this. The vendor who came to sell fruits saw this and was very much captivated by the beauty of the Lord. So she immediately accepted whatever few grains were left in his palms. And in exchange, did she give for that grain one fruit? No. She filled his hands with fruits as much as he could hold in his palms. She filled up, I mean, not palms, in his arms. She filled it up with fruits. In the meantime, the vendor saw that her whole basket of fruit become filled with jewels, right? After giving the fruit to Krishna, and she's just captivated by his beauty. So maybe Krishna went back, and then she would continue with her selling the fruit. And she looked in her basket. Instead of fruits, it was filled with jewels. The Lord is the bestower of all benedictions. If someone gives something to the Lord, he is not the loser. He is the gainer by 1,000,000 times. The fruit vendor was not expecting anything in return, right? She just wanted to please the little child, and she was captivated by his beauty. She was feeling affection for him. She was giving her what she had. So when we give anything to Krishna, we are not losers. Another pastime. One day, Lord Krishna, the liberator of the two twin Arjuna trees, was playing with Balaram and the other children on the bank of the Yamuna. And because it was already late in the morning, Rohini, the mother of Balaram, went to call them back home. So early in the morning, they would get up, looks like, and they just go and play. And then the mothers go and call them, come and take bath now. So went to call them back home. But so it was already late in the morning, right? Because it was already late in the morning, Rohini, the mother of Balaram, went to call them back home. Also, you see, they're small children, right? But Balaram and Krishna were so engrossed in playing with their friends that they did not wish to go back. They just engaged themselves in playing more and more. When Rohini was unable to take them back home, she went home and sent Mother Yasoda to call them again. When Rohini was unable to take them back home, she went home and sent Mother Yasoda to call them again. Mother Yasoda was so affectionate toward her son that as soon as she came out to call him back home, right, as soon as she would just, there wouldn't be a moment when she's not thinking of Krishna, but just when she comes out and when she's calling Krishna, because of her motherly love, her breasts filled up with milk. She loudly cried, "My dear child, please come back home. Your time for lunch is already past." Okay, so this is not the morning, this is like lunchtime. Late morning is lunch. So your time for lunch is already past. She then said, "My dear Krishna, oh my dear lotus-eyed child, please come and suck my breast. You have played enough. You must be very hungry, my dear little child. You must be tired from playing for so long." Right? You should also eat, not just play. She also addressed Balaram thus, "My dear Rama, the glory of your family, my dear child, please come back with your younger brother Krishna immediately. You have been engaged in playing since early morning and you must be very tired. Please come back and take your lunch at home. Your father Nanda Maharaj is waiting for you." Now Yashodama is telling Balaramji. So when Rohini came and called, they didn't go. Yashodamai came and she's calling still. And now she's saying, "Your father Nanda Maharaj is waiting for you. He has to eat. So you must come back so that he can eat." Right? If you don't come, he won't eat and he's hungry. As soon as Krishna and Balaram heard that Nanda Maharaj was waiting for them and could not take his food in their absence, they started to return. Right? Oh, father is not able to eat, we have to go back so father can eat. Their playmates complained, "Krishna is leaving us just at the point when our playing is at the summit," right? We are just now, the game is nicely built and we are just beginning to have so much fun, and they're leaving. Now it will spoil the whole game. So the boys are complaining, Krishna is leaving us just at the point when our playing is at the summit. Next time we will not allow him to leave, right? Next time he cannot leave like this in the middle of the game. His playmates then threatened, not that we will not allow you to leave, we won't even allow you to play with us next time. Because you come, you play, and then you leave in the middle, it spoils the whole game. So we won't even allow you to play. His playmates then threatened not to allow him to play with them again. Krishna became afraid. Oh, they won't allow me to play. That's not good. He became afraid. And instead of going back home, he turned around and went back to play with the boys again. Yashoda Mai saw this. At that time, Mother Yashoda scolded the children and told Krishna, "My dear Krishna, do you think that you are a street boy? You have no home? Please come back to your home. I see that your body has become very dirty from playing since early morning. Now come home and take your bath. Besides, today is your birthday ceremony, Janmashtami." Today is your birth. So this is the second birthday ceremony we are or actually the third one, right? The first one we read was Nanda Maharaj celebrating Nandotsav. The next time we read was when Shakatasura was killed, 1-year-old Krishna. Now again his birthday. Maybe this is the second 2-year birthday. So Yashodama is saying, besides, today is your birthday ceremony. Therefore, you should come back home and give cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Don't you see how your playmates are decorated with ornaments by their mothers? You should also be cleansed and decorated with nice dress and ornaments. Please, therefore, come back, take your bath, dress yourself nicely, and then again you may go on playing. Right? Now, first you should take bath, you should eat, and then you can go back and play. And also dress nicely. Today is your birthday, you have to give charity of cows to the Brahmanas. In this way, Mother Yashoda called back Lord Krishna and Balaram, who are worshipable by great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. She was thinking of them as her children. Also, you see, Yashoda Mai's affection is like even stronger, right? That is why when Yashoda Mai called, they couldn't stay back. They had to go. When Mother Yashoda's children, Krishna and Balaram, came home, she bathed them very nicely and dressed them with ornaments. She then called for the Brahmanas, and through her children, she gave many cows in charity for the occasion of Krishna's birthday. In this way, she performed the birthday ceremony of Krishna at home. So this was which day? Well, we don't see any particular, mention of. Previous to this was, so after the Yamala Arjuna trees were delivered, or Nalakuvara and Manigriva were delivered, and also after the fruit vendor came, one day was Krishna's birthday, like that. And on that day they were playing, and Yashoda Mai called them. Yes, Mataji. Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
So, Mataji, are these pastimes mentioned in order of Krishna's age?
Yeah, I think so. Because as we were reading, I was kind of following, first they are crawling, and then, it's going in order as far as I can understand.
In Damodar Leela, I have heard it and read it also somewhere that when Krishna was 3 years and 2 months old, then it took place.
Okay, so it's possible. Yeah, I don't know if they're 2 years old or not. That I don't know, because in between we are not getting all the details. It is in order, but it's not that all the details are given, isn't it? So it's possible
Yes,
that we are not reading every single birthday. We read the first
Correct.
birthday, so we may have skipped the second and third birthdays, and maybe this is the fourth birthday. It's possible. I don't know exactly.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just counting the birthdays that we saw. It's not that all, again, later on we will see Balaram's birthday when Aghasur is killed, right? So exactly which year, that detail I don't know. But it just came to my mind when I saw, because we are celebrating Janmashtami, so I was just seeing the birthdays as they are coming, like that. But yeah. So it's good to know. So 3 years and 2 months you said is Damodar Leela. So this must be at least the fourth birthday. Actually, when we read about Dhenukasura, we will see they are given charge of the calves, right? Anyway, when we'll come to that, we will read. There, the age is given. After completing I think, Kaumara Leela, they entered into Pauganda, I think. That's the 6th year. That's when they started herding the cows, the older cows. Before that, they were just herding the calves. But anyway, let's continue reading. After this
Herding the calves also, sorry,
no, go
herding the
ahead, go
calves
ahead.
also started by 3 years, right? 3 years or
3 years,
4
yeah.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 years.
Okay.
After this incident, all the elder cowherd men assembled together. Which incident? The birthday incident. And Nanda Maharaj presided. They began to consult amongst themselves how to stop the great disturbances in Mahavan on account of the demons. In this meeting, Upananda, the brother of Nanda Maharaj, was present. He was considered to be learned and experienced, and he was a well-wisher of Krishna and Balaram. He was a leader, and he addressed the meeting as follows. My dear friends, now we should leave here for another place because we are continually finding that great demons are coming here to disturb the peaceful situation. Which demon came recently? Well, I think the last one we read was Yamal Arjuna trees, and they thought it was some demon, isn't it? So they had a meeting and they're deciding that uh, this place is not safe anymore because so many demons are coming here to disturb the peaceful situation. And they are especially attempting to kill the small children. Just consider Putana and Krishna. It was simply by the grace of Lord Hari that Krishna was saved from the hands of such a great demon. Next, the whirlwind demon took Krishna away into the sky. But by the grace of Lord Hari, he was saved. And the demon fell down on a stone slab and died. Very recently, this child was playing between two trees. So it is in chronological order only. Yeah. Very recently, this child was playing between two trees, and the trees fell down violently, and yet there was no injury to the child. So Lord Hari saved him again. Just imagine the calamity if this child or any other child playing with him were crushed by the falling trees. Considering all these incidents, we must conclude that this place is no longer safe. Let us leave. We have all seen, we have all been saved from different calamities by the grace of Lord Hari. Now we should be cautious and leave this place and reside somewhere where we can live peacefully. We have to move from here. I think that we should all go to the forest known as Vrindavan, where just now there are newly grown plants and herbs. It is very suitable for pasturing ground for all cows, and we and our families, the gopis with their children, can very peacefully live there. Near Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, which is very beautiful, and there are newly grown grass and fodder for the animals. So there will be no difficulty in living there. I therefore suggest that we start immediately for that beautiful place, as there is no need to waste any more time. Let us prepare all our carts immediately, and if you like, let us go, keeping all the cows in front. Who's suggesting this? Upananda, the younger brother. On hearing the statement of Upananda, all the cowherd men immediately agreed. Let us immediately go there. Everyone then loaded all their household furniture and utensils onto the carts and prepared to go to Vrindavan. All the children, women, and old men of the village were arranged on seats, And the cowherd men equipped themselves with bows and arrows to follow the carts. So they were walking behind. All the cows and bulls were placed in the front along with their calves, and the men with their bows and arrows surrounded the herds and carts. So on the sides and in the back, they were surrounding, and began to blow their horns and bugles. In this way, with tumultuous sound, they started for Vrindavan. And who can describe the damsels of Raja? They were all seated on the carts and were very beautifully dressed with ornaments and costly saris. They chanted the pastimes of child Krishna as usual. For them, that is their life. Always, whatever they're doing, they're always singing the pastimes, the activities of Krishna. So even while going on the carts, they were singing. Mother Yasoda and Mother Rohini were seated on a separate cart, and Krishna and Balaram were seated on their laps. While Mother Rohini and Yasoda were riding on the cart, they talked to Krishna and Balaram, feeling the pleasure of such talks. They looked very, very beautiful. Like you ask little children some questions and they start talking, they start explaining. And the mothers were experiencing so much pleasure hearing the talks of the little children. And they were looking so beautiful talking to the little children. In this way, after reaching Vrindavan, where everyone lives eternally, very peacefully and happily, they encircled Vrindavan, drew all the carts together in a half circle. So all the carts were arranged in a semicircle, and in this way constructed a temporary residence. So inside the circle they would stay, right? So they are protected on the outside like a wall. The carts make like a wall and they are there inside. When Krishna and Balaram saw the beautiful appearance of Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill, and the banks of the river Yamuna, they felt very happy. As they grew up, they began talking with their parents and others in childish language, and thus they gave great pleasure to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So temporarily they first stayed there, and gradually they must have built their homes, right, and their community there. And Krishna and Balaram are gradually growing up. Soon Krishna and Balaram had grown sufficiently to be given charge of the calves. So this is happening now. They're given charge of the calves. Cowherd boys from the very beginning of their childhood are trained to take care of the cows, and their first responsibility is to take care of the little calves. So along with the other little cowherd boys, Krishna and Balaram went into the pasturing ground and took charge of the calves, and there they played with their playmates. So it was a play, of course. Little children are playing all the time, but also they're trained how to take it. That's why they're given calves. Calves are smaller, right? So they're also herding them, and at the same time they're just playing with their playmates. While taking charge of the calves, sometimes the two brothers played on their flutes, and sometimes they played with amlaka fruits and bale fruits like balls. They would throw and play, just as small children play with balls. Sometimes they danced and made tinkling sounds with their ankle bells. Sometimes they made themselves into bulls and cows by covering themselves with blankets. So 2 or 4 boys, right, would bend and cover themselves with the blanket and would look like a bull. The boy in the front would be standing up and the ones behind are kind of bent down, and they would run together looking like a bull. Thus Krishna and Balaram played. The two brothers also used to imitate the sounds of bulls and cows and play like two bulls fighting. Sometimes they used to imitate the sounds of various animals and birds. In this way they enjoyed their childhood pastimes, apparently like ordinary mundane children. So like this, time was passing by. Once when Krishna and Balaram, so this is the first demon killed in Vrindavan. Now they are in Vrindavan. Once when Krishna and Balaram were playing on the bank of the Yamuna, a demon of the name Vatsasura. What's Vatsa? Vatsa means a calf. Vatsāsura, Asura, or a demon who comes in the form of a calf. So Krishna and Balaram are still small boys, so they are herding calves, isn't it? So one demon comes in disguise as a calf, the calf demon, Vatsasura. A demon of the name Vatsasura assumed the shape of a calf and came there intending to kill the brothers. By taking the shape of a calf, the demon could mingle with the other calves. Krishna, however, specifically noticed this, and he immediately alerted Balaram about the entrance of the demon. It looked like a calf, but the temperament was not like a calf, isn't it? External look was like a calf, but Krishna could immediately detect this is not a calf. Both brothers then silently approached him. Krishna caught hold of the demon calf by the two hind legs and tail, right? Two hind legs and tail, held it, whipped him around very forcibly, and threw him up into a tree. The demon lost his life and fell down from the top of the tree to the ground. When the demon, I just while reading about this, I'm just remembering the way this demon was killed is like a combination of Trinavarta and Dhenukasura, isn't it? Or, yeah, Dhenukasura. I think Lord Balaram, how did he kill Dhenukasura? Remember when we were reading for Balaram Jayanti? He held the hind legs and he just, whirled the demon around and threw him on top of the tree. So like that, this Vatsasura is also holding the hind legs. He was whirled and threw. And how did he die? Dhenukasura didn't die, because of falling down and getting crushed. He was just staying on the trees. But Trinavarta, how he came down, crashing down onto the ground. So I'm just thinking of both those demons in Vatsasura, Dhenukasura and Trinavarta. So the demon lost his life, fell down from the top of the tree to the ground. Yeah, it's not that he died after falling down. I think even Trinavarta didn't die after falling down. On the way itself, he was finished. Anyway, both brothers then silently approached him. Krishna caught hold of the demon calf by the two hind legs and tail, whipped him around very forcibly, and threw him up into a tree. The demon lost his life and fell down from the top of the tree to the ground. When the demon lay dead on the ground, all the playmates of Krishna congratulated him. Well done, well done. And the demigods in the sky showered flowers with great satisfaction. In this way, the maintainers of the complete creation, who? Krishna and Balaram, used to take care of the calves every day, beginning in the morning, and thus they enjoyed their childhood pastimes as cowherd boys in Vrindavan. Another pastime. One day, all the cowherd boys went to the bank of the river Yamuna to water their calves. The calves were thirsty so that they could drink water. When the calves drank water from the Yamuna, the boys also drank. After drinking, when they were sitting on the bank of the river, they saw a huge animal which looked something like a heron. Heron is like a crane, baka, and was as big as a hill. Its top was as strong as a thunderbolt. Its top was as strong as a thunderbolt. When they saw that unusual animal, they became afraid of it. The name of this beast was Bakāsura, and he was a friend of Kamsa's. He appeared on the scene suddenly and immediately attacked Krishna with his pointed, sharp beak and quickly swallowed him up. So he was pecking Krishna with his beak and then opening its mouth, the beak, just took Krishna inside and swallowed Krishna. Suddenly. When Krishna was thus swallowed, all the boys headed by Balaram became almost breathless. It was so sudden, right? Completely unexpected, as if they had died. But when the Bakāsura demon was swallowing up Krishna, what was Bakāsura's feeling? He felt a burning, fiery sensation in his throat. So he was taking Krishna, trying to swallow Krishna, but in the throat, while Krishna was in the throat of this Bakāsura, he could feel a burning sensation, like as if he's swallowing fire in his throat. This was due to the glowing effulgence of Krishna. The demon quickly threw, literally spit out, right? Threw Krishna up and tried to kill him by pinching him with his beak. Bakāsura did not know that although Krishna was playing the part of a child of Nanda Maharaj, he was still the original father of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe. Mother Yashoda's child, who is the reservoir of pleasure for the demigods and who is the maintainer of saintly persons, caught hold of the great gigantic heron by the two halves of his beak. So this beak was, this Bakāsura was trying to pinch Krishna with the beak. What did Krishna do? He held the two, the beak is like this, right? Upper and lower. Krishna held both of these and then he just bifurcated. So, he didn't realize Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Mother Yashoda's child, who is the reservoir of pleasure for the demigods and who is the maintainer of saintly persons, caught hold of the great gigantic heron by the two halves of his beak and before his cowherd boyfriends bifurcated his mouth. How? Just as a child very easily splits a blade of grass, like that, right? Very easily, not with great effort. He just caught hold of both the beaks and just split it into two, the body of Bakāsura. As a child very easily splits a blade of grass. From the sky, the denizens of heavenly planets showered flowers like the Mallika, the most fragrant of all flowers, as a token of their congratulations. Accompanying the showers of flowers was a vibration of bugles, drums, and conch shells. So how many did we see so far in today's reading? We have some more to go, but let's recap. So first of all, they moved from from Mahavan to Vrindavan, right? And after coming here, actually even before coming, the fruit vendor, right? They heard from the children how the Yamalarjuna trees, how they were pulled down and, two shining personalities came. And then we saw how Yashodamai would ask Lord Krishna to bring wooden plank, or Nanda Maharaj would ask him to bring his wooden shoe. In this way, every moment, every day, they were completely immersed in bliss, seeing the pastimes of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamai. Then we read about the fruit vendor. And after that, we saw that Vatsasura? No, Krishna's birthday, right? Krishna's birthday, and how they were playing, and Mother Rohini went to call and they wouldn't come. Then Yashodamai called, and then she said Nanda Maharaj is not able to eat. So then they came. Again Krishna went back because the boys were threatening, they wouldn't allow him to play. So then Yashodamai said, don't you have a... Now she's, was kind of chastising slightly mildly. And she said, don't you have a home? Are you a street boy? Right? You come, take a bath, and today's your birthday, you have to give charity to Brahmanas, like that. And then they went back. Then she dressed them nicely. And then we saw how they had a meeting. And then, they arranged everything on their cards. And they decided to go to... So who was the one who suggested this? Upananda. Then they went to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, there is Govardhan, there is the river Yamuna, like that. And then now they're growing up. Then we saw about the Vatsasura. Now, Krishna and Balarama are given charge of the calves to herd. Then Vatsasura is killed, and then Bakāsura came one day. Okay, Bakāsura is also killed. And in both cases, the demigods are showering flowers. So, when the demigods were showering flowers, when the boys saw the showering of flowers and heard the celestial sounds, they were struck with wonder. And when they saw Krishna freed from the mouth of the great demon Bakāsura, all of a sudden, including Balaram, were so pleased that it seemed as if they had regained their very source of life. Okay, so looks like they were breathless when Krishna was swallowed, and then it's as if they came back to life. when they heard the music and flowers, and they saw that Bakāsura is dead and Krishna is out, right? So then it's as if they came back to life. So they were like they fainted or something when Krishna was swallowed by Bakāsura, right? And then when they heard the sounds and the flowers, then it's like coming back to life for them. As soon as they saw Krishna coming toward them, they one after another embraced the son of Nanda and held him to their chests. After this, they assembled all the calves under their charge and began to return home. So that was their adventure that day. Now they will go home and tell how Krishna killed Bakāsura. When they arrived home, they spoke of the wonderful activities of the son of Nanda. When the gopis and cowherd men all heard the story from the boys, they felt great happiness because naturally they loved Krishna, and by hearing about his glories and victorious activities, they became still more affectionate toward him. Thinking that child Krishna had been saved from the mouth of death, they looked upon his face with great love and affection, right? And as if he's returned from the from the dead. They were full of anxiety and could not turn their faces from the vision of Krishna. What if he had actually been swallowed by Bakāsura? What would be their condition, right? So they couldn't turn their faces away from the vision of Krishna. The gopis and the men began to converse amongst themselves about how wonderful it was that child Krishna had been attacked in so many ways and so many times by so many demons. And yet the demons themselves had been killed and Krishna had remained uninjured. They continued to converse amongst themselves about how so many great demons in such fierce bodies had attacked Krishna to kill him, but by the grace of Hari had not been able to cause even a slight injury. Rather, they had died like small flies in a fire. Thus they remembered the words of Garga Muni, who had foretold, by dint of his vast knowledge of the Vedas and astrology, that this boy would be attacked by many demons, right? And also that they would be saved. There would be disturbances, but they will always be saved because of the presence of Krishna. Now they were actually seeing that this was coming true, word for word. All the cowherd men, including Nanda Maharaj, used to talk of the wonderful activities of Lord Krishna and Balaram, and they were always so much absorbed in those talks that they forgot the threefold miseries of this material existence. This is the effect of Krishna consciousness. What was enjoyed 5,000 years ago by Nanda Maharaj can still be enjoyed by Krishna conscious persons simply by talking about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna and his associates. Balaram and Krishna enjoyed their childhood pastimes, imitating Lord Ramchandra's monkeys who constructed the bridge over the ocean, and Hanuman who jumped over the water to Ceylon. They used to imitate such pastimes among their friends and so happily passed their childhood life. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 11th chapter of Krishna, killing the demons Vatsasura and Bakasura. So if you see little Krishna, you will see this pastime, building the bridge, and then that's where Bakasura also comes. So Srila Prabhupada has, given it here, mentioning how Krishna Balaram would imitate the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra also in their play. Okay. So today is Friday. We will not have class tomorrow evening and also Sunday evening. But it's a nice pastime. We can have tomorrow morning. We can read about Bakāsura in the morning, and also Sunday morning also I think we can read, and possibly Monday morning also we can read. But tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, I'll be giving a class in the JEI satsang, and there, what is it called? Bhakti Vriksha group.
Bensalam Bhakti Vriksham.
Bensalam Bhakti Vriksha group, yeah. So I'm thinking, and Sunday
Yes.
evening I have a class in ISKCON Philly, Sunday evening class, and both are supposed to be Janmashtami classes. And I was thinking it's not, it's going to be just 1 hour long. So how much can we speak of all the pastime in 1 hour? It's not possible. Even just the Janma Leela, we cannot cover everything in one class. So I don't know, by the Lord's inspiration, I'm just thinking I will just start in the Bensalam Bhakti Vriksha group, and then I'll just continue it in the ISKCON Philly. Maybe give a quick, recap of what we discussed on Saturday, and then continue from there. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow evening we will not have classes here, but if you are able to, we can discuss Krishna Katha in the Bensalam Bhakti Vriksha group, and after that in ISKCON Philadelphia, Sunday evening class. And then morning we will read Agasur's pastime in the morning tomorrow. So in the morning classes, in our classes here, we will just continue the same sequence until Janmashtami. One after another, we will read Krishna's pastimes. But in the temple, I'll be talking about the appearance. So the first 3 chapters of 10th canto, I will be covering. At least that's what I'm thinking now. Let us see. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.